And welcome to YouTube Tuesday, session 166 with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess B, Creative Cardiology. Today, we are going to use Stampin' Up's All About Autumn Designer Series paper. Yes, this coveted paper here on page 43, the All About Autumn paper. Good news, we are expecting another shipment on next Monday, October 23rd. So mark your calendars, be ready to check throughout the date because we don't know exactly what time that will be restocked. In the morning, it could be afternoon or evening. So just be ready to add this to your order when it does come back in stock because it's had a habit of selling out within a matter of hours. But I absolutely love this paper. It's gorgeous. It's a 6x6 stack, 48 sheets. However, there are a couple of pages here. Hi, David, my hubby. Hello, everyone. There's a couple of pages in this paper pack, and these are what I'm calling the library book pages. Let's make sure they're right side up. So there's this one design that has the kind of the zoomed in of the books on the shelf, and then here we have kind of the whole library view. And I have not seen very many people using these particular pages. So if you've been looking on Pinterest and things, maybe you would not have seen a lot of ideas for this. So that is what I'm going to share today, is a couple of cute ideas using these particular library patterns in your projects. All right, so the stamp sets that we are going to pair with these, how fitting, is the bird's eye, because of course we have the little birds, we've got little gloves, we've even got a monocle that you can add to the bird on the stack of libraries. Adorable. So bird's eye view, that is from the annual catalog on page 48 here. Super cute. And then the second set, for the second card, we're going to use the ever popular In the Moment stamp set. How adorable is this particular image? You've got the girl snuggled up with a warm blanket, good book, or furry friend there. And I thought that would go really well. That stamp set is found on page 96 of the annual catalog. It's called In the Moment. So I've got a couple of fun projects using those. Of course, my October host code for the month here, V9GCXW6J. All right, and oh, Sandy, yes, you have been trying to order this All About Autumn paper and have not succeeded yet. Yes, keep trying, okay? So mark your calendar because right now the Stampin' Up's inventory report, oh, sorry, Kathy, if your image is a little blurry. It looks clear on my end. Let's see, does that help at all? I shut my other light off. I am out here in the kitchen again. My craft room is a disaster, as well as the fact that it's cold back there. All right, let me let Ziggy out. All right, and see if that helps here. Maybe I can switch a couple of different lights on. All right, see if that makes a difference, hopefully. All right. Yes, so keep trying. Yes, okay. All right, good. Kathy says it's clearing up now. All right, so hopefully Tracy says it's good. Okay, great. All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. So to make these projects, essentially for both cards, I'm starting with a sheet of the copper clay cardstock. So if you start with your sheet that's 8.5 by 11, cut it at 5.5, you'll have your card bases for these two projects. Okay, so we're going to start with our 5.5 by 8.5, fold it at 4.25. Okay, we're all good there. All right. I am using very vanilla with this paper pack. I find that in the patterns in the All About Autumn, it just, the vanilla is the color listed, and it's just a little bit warmer. It's not quite as stark as the basic white. So that is what we're going to use today. All right, good. So I don't know why it was blurry at first, but I'm glad it's clearing up. Thank you guys for your comments. All right. Hi, Sandy and Kathy and Tracy and Heidi. Thank you guys. All right. So like I said, we're pairing some very vanilla with this. Let me go ahead. I'll start with this piece. This is the 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. Sometimes I cut these and then forget to actually insert them in my project. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before I forget. All right, so for this particular project, I'm going to use a layer of Pretty Peacock. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Wendy. This Pretty Peacock is 4 by 5 1/4, but we're not going to glue it on just yet. We are going to use our library pattern. So this time I'm using the pattern with the smaller books here. And what I've done is I trimmed this down to 5 1/4, and then I used 2-inch strips. So you can get 3 different, you can make 3 of the same cards out of one sheet of the paper here. All right, so we're gonna take this 2-inch by 5 1/4 piece of the library, and we are going to adhere that to our Pretty Peacock cardstock. This is another really simple layout that you can use with your various designer series papers and things. It's kind of one of those classics that always looks great. All right, so the next thing when do our clocks go back? I believe it is November 5th. It changes in the night between the 4th and the 5th. Yes, don't you love these colors? I have been really into the pecan pie, which works really great with Pretty Peacock as well. But the creamy caramel is just nice and creamy, and it's perfect for fall, and it makes me want some hot cocoa now. Or a caramel latte or something. That sounds fun. I could curl up with that in my good book. That would be nice and cozy by the fireplace. All right, so before we glue this down, we're gonna take some of our creamy caramel ribbon. It's nice, fun ribbon, easy to use. I'm gonna kind of place this down the left-hand side of my project and cut it just a little bit longer here so that I can then tape the ends to the back. All right, gives your edges a nice clean look. Nobody likes frayed ribbon sticking out the sides of their card. All right, so I like to put it right there along the edge. Still have a little Pretty Peacock showing on the left side. All right, it's not covering the books too much. There we go. And I thought about embossing this Pretty Peacock layer, but I actually think the books are busy enough that I wanted to keep this nice and clean. And if you did want to stamp a sentiment, you have a spot right down here in the lower right corner. This would be the place that I would stamp my sentiment in Pretty Peacock. I'm actually not going to stamp a sentiment today. I'm going to leave that blank, but that is where I would put it if you were wanting to do that. All right, so for our focal image, I've used the Stylish Shapes dies. This is the largest of the circles, and it ends up, it's about 3 1/4 inches. So if you make sure you're starting with a piece of very vanilla that's 3 1/4 inches wide, then you'll be good to die cut your circles here. Okay, so we're gonna do our stamping in copper clay. You really only need copper clay ink, maybe a Pretty Peacock ink pad. And then the rest of our ink we're going to do in the form of our Stampin' Blends. I'm gonna do the copper clay, the Pretty Peacock. I've got some Old Olive and even our Moody Mauve. These are the colors from the paper pack there. So I thought that would be the easiest thing to do. All right, so we've got our copper clay ink. What I'm going to do first, I'm gonna stamp my little stack of books, and I'm gonna do that at the bottom of my circle, just right on the very edge here, because I wanna make sure that I have room for my bird. And I'm using this little particular one. You could use any of them, would work for this. I like this one because he's standing up nice and tall. And I'm gonna put the little birdie feet right on the books there. right on the top of the stack. All right, so you can tell it just fits. Fits perfectly there. And that's it for our copper clay. What I am going to do is take the little glasses. All right, I'm going to use the little round spectacles. You could use whichever shape you want. And I'm going to use my Pretty Peacock ink for that. But I'm going to do that after I finish coloring the rest of this image here. Okay. So like I said, we're going to use our Stampin' Blends for this. So a great project if you enjoy coloring. Hi, Karen. Hello, hello. So I'm going to start, well, let's go with some Old Olive. I'm going to, again, like I said, pull the colors from the paper pack. I'm going to start with my lighter colors here. So my light olive blend. And I'm going to start with the book on the bottom. All right, you don't have to be too particular, just add a little bit of color to that, and then we'll take the dark blend, and then we can add a little extra color on the spine. Maybe you want to trace along the outside just to add a little separation from the book above it and a little extra highlight to the pages. Next, I'm going to do some Moody Mauve. All right, these are from the new In Color collection here. Again, I'm going to start with my light. Just do a little all over coloring here. And then highlight with my dark. All right, and this time I think I'm going to color the majority of the spine, that darker color there. All right, and then just trace that out. Again, little highlighting on the pages. All right, and then last but not least, I'm going to do some Pretty Peacock for the top book here. And that ties in our designer series paper or cardstock as well. All right, so with the light, then we'll go over it with the dark. All right, again, just kind of add a little highlighting so that separates it from the other books. All right, and then trace out the top as well. Gives it a nice finished look there. Okay, so for our bird, I am going to pull in just a little bit of pumpkin pie because I think the nose, oh, my pumpkin pie is sticking a little bit. All right, I'm going to do a little pumpkin nose on my bird face, and I'm going to use the light Pretty Peacock just to give him some kind of blue-green eyes here. All right, and then we're going to essentially, this kind of turns into a no-line coloring here because the copper clay that we stamped with kind of disappears behind our other layers. So I'm going to take the dark copper clay blend and I'm going to trace over the detailed parts here of my stamped image. I am going to go around the nose so that it doesn't just blend into the background. I know that looks a little weird right now. Highlighting the eyes and the nose. And then again, trace around his body. Oops, just to make it a little bit dark. The little sprigs on his feathers on the top of his head and then the little feathers on the body. Okay. And then once that's done, I can just go in and color the whole thing with my light copper clay. And I don't have to worry about coloring inside, or I mean like outside the lines, or I don't have to worry about, you know, am I gonna color over the eyes and the nose or whatever. Just go around there. Okay. And like I said, the colors kind of just blend right into the background. If the eyes disappear, again, come in with the darker one. You can add the eyes a little bit darker back in. And now that we've got that, let's stamp our glasses, our spectacles over the top. I did this last, because again, I didn't want the ink to just fade into the background. So we'll place our spectacles here on top. All right, now they're nice and bright and bold, which is just what I wanted there. Is that not the cutest? We got a little book bird or a nerdy birdie. I thought that was kind of cute. I call it my nerdy birdie. Whatever you like to call it here. It's just the sweetest little image, isn't it? I love that. So I'm going to use some stamp and dimensionals here. Using up my scraps. So whatever you've got here, I'm going to use a bunch because I've just got little pieces that I had trimmed out. So stick them all over. Again, because Stampin' Blends do bleed through your project, you can see that here on my stamped image. It is good to have something protecting your work surface because they will poke through. Is that not the cutest thing ever? I love it. So I'm going to stick my nerdy birdie here right in the middle of my card. Like I said, you could use that lower right corner to stamp a message if you wanted to. And then I'm going to take a second piece here of my copper clay ribbon and just add a little knot. Nothing fancy, not too pretentious, just a simple knot here along the edge of my library. All right, super cute. Now I'm gonna add, I cut just a little trim of, because you end up with, when you trim this down, of course you start with your 6x6, and I cut this at 5 1/4. All right, so that left me a 3/4, so a 0.75 inch strip along the bottom. So if you cut that to 4 inches, all right, then that gives you the perfect little measurement, little strip here to go right inside your card. I'm going to come just up from that bottom edge. All right, so that ties in the front. And now just a little bit of bling. I'm going to use my in color enamel dots in the copper clay and add just a couple little dots to this. All right, let me see here. There we go. So I'm going to put my large one just off of my stamped image. I'll do the medium. Oops, it's sticking to me. Come on here. All right, I'll do the medium one, kind of by the bird body. And then we'll do the small. And I'll add that down here to the little stack of books towards the left. All right, so now we've got our little trio, which works perfectly. So is that not the cutest thing ever? I love this card. I actually have a little tutorial sheet written up for this. So make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter because I will be sending that out here probably tomorrow. I'm always a day late behind on my sending out my newsletters, but I will include the tutorial for that, and I'll try to link that here in the comments as well. All right, is that not the cutest? All right, so we have the other library sheet. Okay, so we just used the smaller books. Now we have this larger sheet, and it's like, what do we do with that? So I'm going to follow the same concept for this card. We're using the other half of our copper clay cardstock. I think I called this creamy caramel before. Does anybody remember that color? That was an old Stampin' Up! Color. It was one of the original Earth Elements collection. This is actually copper clay. All right, so copper clay, again, I'm using a 1/4 sheet of Pretty Peacock 4 by 5 1/4, but we're not gonna glue that down quite yet because this is where our larger library books come in. So I thought for this, it would be best to use the large image. So I cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5, because that way when you look at it, you can still make out the stack of books and then the two on the shelf. If you cut this into too small, then you kind of lose the image, right? It makes it kind of hard to identify what this is actually a picture of. Now the back side is really pretty. This has the copper foil on the vanilla. So I thought I would use some of that to go on our vanilla piece for the inside. All right, so again, we got our vanilla 4 by 5 1/4. We'll tuck that inside. And then from trimming this piece down, and again, I have a 3/4 by 4 inch strip. See, because if you use that side, it's really hard to tell what that is. So on this time, I think the foil side is the better to have up. Oh, Karen, you still have some creamy caramel? Yes, it was a great color. I remember it paired really well with chocolate chip, which is kind of the precursor to our early espresso. So yes, that's going back. I loved it. Hi, Polly. Glad you joined. Better late than never. All right, so we're going to adhere the larger pattern of our library books, 3 3/4 by 5, to our pretty peacock layer. And then you guys can help me decide. So I'm not going to glue this down quite yet. I still have some of that copper clay ribbon, and I've cut another 3/4 inch circle from the largest stylish circle dies for my stamped image. So why don't I go ahead and stamp that, and then you can help me decide where we want to place that. Do I want to be kind of centered up at the top, or maybe down here? I'm thinking kind of down here towards the lower right. I know it's hard to see lower right. It just looks a little off center because it's a larger circle. But I'm kind of thinking if we did some of that copper clay ribbon and then place this at the lower right, I could do a little knot here. And that way you can still see the stacks of books on the main panel. So for this one, we are going to pull in our In the Moment stamp set, because this image of the girls snuggled up with a cozy blanket, a good book, furry friend. All right, that just works perfectly for this project. And we're going to use our copper clay for this. All right, so I'm using the same colors, same everything for this project. This image stamps, it's just the perfect size. This is the largest of the Stylish Shapes circle dies. Okay, isn't that cute? Now, actually, I like the way that looks. You could probably leave it just like that. That's really cute. I was going to color it with my blend. So before I color it, let's check it out. What do you guys think? If I stamped it, put the ribbon towards the lower portion of the card, put her down towards the lower right, and then put our knot there. I think that will work. I think I like that better than top center. Tracy likes it plain. Yeah, I'm really liking it uncolored like that. I really do. You know what? Maybe I could color the book, just the book, and that ties in the library. What do you guys think? Should just color the book? All right, let me go ahead, cut my ribbon just a little bit wider here than the base. We'll add our adhesive to the back. All right, it sounds like, okay, Kathy agrees. Put this image down lower. And okay, good. Tracy thinks that maybe just highlighting the book would be a good idea too. All right, so I've got just a little bit of ribbon here. Let's add our dimensionals. Again, I've got all these little bits and pieces because I'm a crafter, so we have to be thrifty. I don't throw anything away. So we'll add those to our panel here. Here we go. All right. Oops, moved my garbage on me. Okay. So I think put this down towards the lower right. That looks good. We can still see the library behind. We'll add a little knot here as well. This ribbon ties really nice, but I do feel like it's a little, like if you were to do a bow, I think that would be too thick, too heavy on the front of the card here. So I think going with just a simple knot works a bit better. All right, so let's do that. And how about we color the book? Let's go with Pretty Peacock because that, again, brings out the layer from behind. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys like this. And Karen still has some stash of chocolate chip. Oh, that's awesome. Love that. Thanks for joining us on your lunch break, Karen. All right, so I'm going to highlight the spine, the pages, just trace this around with my dark Stampin' Blend. And then we'll come in with the light and just color that in. All right, what do you guys think? Does that work? Just highlighting the book? I don't know. I think actually, I liked it better plain. What do you guys think? I don't know. I think I liked it plain. Let's see. All right, so maybe I'll do it both ways. If you guys want to stay on and watch me color and see how it turns out. Otherwise, I've got a second circle there just for, because I do think it looked, I think I prefer it plain. I don't think I'm liking just the single book colored as much as I thought I would. So I think I would stick with the plain, or if you want to color the whole thing, then we could add, maybe we'll add a little bit of creamy caramel to our little puppy here. Oh, his little snout, maybe his ears. Just kind of highlight our puppy. All right, just kind of a light touch on there. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of the dark. We'll give her hair a little bit of dark highlights there. And then maybe just let's do some Moody Mauve maybe for the blanket. All right, and then oh, how about the mug? That's kind of cute. Let's do that. Let's do Old Olive on the mug, because then that's everything that you need for a perfect fall day, is a warm cup of something yummy and your furry friend and a good book and a cozy blanket and a fireplace. All right, that sounds perfect to me. So I'm going to come in here with my dark Moody Mauve. And we'll just do some of the blanket. Around there, so we don't have to do the whole thing, but we'll just add some of that in. Okay, yeah, I think that looks cute. I don't have the rest of, oh, do I? Yeah, actually I do. I think I have some, well, that's the dark petal pink. Let's see. Maybe a little crumb cake would have been cute there on our puppy face. And then, let's see, we can go with some of our skin tones on the wrist here. And then, let's see here. I don't want to go too dark, but let's see, what do I have in here? I don't want to do azure, that's a little too bright. All right, I don't have my navy blends, let me grab those. And then, all right, I think that'll work. Maybe I can grab, I've got Misty Moonlight, that'll work. All right, so we'll do some Misty Moonlight lounge pants. And here, boy, that's coming out a little dark, but I can't tell if they're hemmed or if they're slouchy socks. So I think I'll just do that. All right, and then we've got our slouchy socks. I've got some balmy blue. You could do boho blue, maybe just a lighter color. Works good for our slouchy socks here. All right, I think that works without totally overdoing it. Let me add just a little bit of pecan, just darken up that. I think that was just a little too light on the puppy face there. All right, so there we have it. I think I'm gonna leave it. All right, so there we go. We have it plain, if you prefer that, or we have it colored, which is nice and cozy too. So whichever element you prefer. Oh, Terry, I'm glad you like it. Hello, hello. Yes, I'm partial to the Nerdy Birdie card too. I think that is definitely my favorite. But it's kind of fun to have a different stamp set, something that maybe you wouldn't think of pairing with this. And this makes a perfect cozy autumn paper. Yeah, works nice together. And this is a great stamp set too. If you already have it in your collection, then great. If not, you'll want to add this because I think this will work really well with some of the online exclusives that are coming out in November. But it would pair really well with that. So it's just kind of one of those classic sets because you can pair these scenic images with so many different backgrounds. Lots and lots of fun. So there we go. A couple of simple cards. Again, just using some of those library pages from our All About Autumn Designer Series paper. If you missed it prior, keep checking. We're expecting another shipment in next Monday, the 23rd. Of course, if it comes in sooner than that, then I will post alerts on my social media and get that out. But it's one of those papers that seems to be so popular this year that when you see it, you just have to act now. And I know I've missed out because I'm like, oh, let me finish getting the rest of my order together. I'll add a few things. And by the time I hit submit, it was gone. So I think it's one of those that if you really want the paper, be prepared to just order the paper and not wait, or have the rest of your order ready to go so that you don't, so that it doesn't hold you up. All right, I'm gonna add just a couple of these little in color enamel dots here as well. Just a little bling. All right, let's see here. Move it right up here. All right, just a little trio to finish it off. All right, so there you go. We have fun insides as well, little strip of the library for our Nerdy Birdie, and some really pretty, that little copper foil design, which is the reverse of the larger library book pages. But thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me hearts, thumbs up, likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter as well. I'll be sending out the tutorial for the little nerdy birdie card. And really appreciate you guys joining me today. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay warm and cozy, and I'll see you on Friday. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.